Hi, welcome to the WaterBearBrigade. I have two guests with me, Mad Cat and Unvarnished. Introduce yourself, starting with Unvarnished.
Hello, I'm Unvarnishedvoid, Twitter at Unvarnishedvoid.
You know, I couldn't help but notice that it was the female that went first.
Of course.
Well, she was supposed to be on earlier. This was supposed to be just her and me, but I think you will be a nice addition.
Alright, I am Mad Cat, also known as the Angry Egalitarian. I have a channel here on YouTube, but you can also find me on Twitter under ggmad_cat. And for those with Sea Lion, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're just not cool enough, you can find me as just Mad Cat.
All information will be in the down below after the broadcast. Okay, so last week we had an interesting event.
Yes.
Unvarnished, what was your experience at the event?
Lots of fun. And also super excited about all the Pokemon stops. I was happy I got to meet everybody though as well.
I'm not sure who half the people were, actually.
Well, there was a couple of people from the Honey Badgers, which I knew, and I was following Hannah already, and obviously I think I was following you before that again.
Yep.
I was definitely following you before then. And then there was some new people. There was this Nick and Zone, and I did an interview with them, which you can see all the interviews on Aerith Radio's YouTube. I have 4 of them, but I did an interview with them, so I just met them that weekend. So I met some new people, and then I met people that, you know, I was already following on Twitter, which was really exciting, including Mad Cat.
Mad Cat?
See, it was my understanding that what happened at the meetup stayed at the meetup.
No, this isn't Las Vegas.
That was only after we stayed at Hannah's place.
Because I don't know if there's anything I want to share about what happened at the meetup. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it was a lot of great fun. First time I've met Hannah, so that was a nice treat. I've known her for a long time. Had Brian Martinez show up last minute, so I was talking to him on Facebook as he drove I don't know, what was it, 5-hour trip?
Yeah.
So that was a nice surprise. I got to meet Hannah's husband, who's a very nice guy.
He was awesome.
Yeah,
I talked to him quite a bit because I rode in the car. He drove me there and he drove me back and stuff. He was a really great guy. He has a license for professional masseuse, whatever.
You know, the sad thing, Unvarnished, is that because we drove the wrong way to get to the buffet, I actually could have picked you up without losing any time at all. And they wouldn't have had to go get you. So, I thought it was Hannah's husband picked up the check for the buffet. I thought that was really, really awesome of them.
Yeah, that was super nice. I brought money for it, and he was like, "No, don't worry about it," and stuff. Super nice. That was awesome.
And then they cooked breakfast the next day for everybody, tons of sausage, tons of bacon. She was cooking up a lot of pancakes.
Jesus, I need to stay the night next time. What?
Well, we told you to, but you're like, no, I don't want to spend the night. I don't want to be cool.
No, it wasn't. I had work the next day. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So, but if I have enough ahead of time, and I know that there's gonna be an awesome breakfast like that, I can ask for that day off next time.
Well, just know Hannah likes to cook. She likes to be in the kitchen, barefooted.
I also like to cook. I guess me and her have that in common.
Yeah, I like to be barefoot.
And I like to cook with my shoes on.
Actually, it's funny because I mentioned that. Well, okay, so there was this comment up on Twitter a while ago, and this feminist said, basically, if you don't have a vagina, you have no basis to make decisions about my body or to have any say about what a woman does with her body. And I said, I agree, but on the same token, you should keep your hands out of my wallet, right? So essentially saying, if it's your body, your choice, it should be my body, my wallet, my choice, right? And the first thing someone said is, "Oh, you just want to keep a woman pregnant and barefoot." I said, "Well, no, I would just want a woman to be pregnant no more than twice. And as for the barefoot part, that's only so our shoes would match."
Well, see, I don't want a woman to stay pregnant because they're bitchy when they're pregnant. I mean, yes, they're also very horny, so kudos for me, but all the hormones going around, I mean, once, twice, that's enough.
I wasn't very hormonal. I'm not a very hormonal person, actually. So the same with when I was pregnant. So I'm not during, the monthly times. I'm not hormonal or anything either. I actually went through like the first 2 months of my pregnancy at AIT for military training. And you're not supposed to go if you're pregnant, but they give you a pregnancy test beforehand, and then it came up negative, and they sent me anyways. So I was pregnant for 2 months. Didn't know it. Did all that training. Woo.
Lovely.
I know.
Time well spent.
Actually, I posted an interesting comment on Twitter this morning. Basically, if gender is a social construct, then sperm and ovum are social constructs.
Yeah, I don't
That's a good one.
I can't believe they're so dumb that they actually keep saying that gender is a social construct. They're even talking about biology being a social construct.
What? No. Nobody said that. No.
No, yeah, they did. They basically were.
Oh my gosh. No.
Yeah, like what Mad Cat was saying, they were actually saying that that sperm and ovum were social constructs.
Well, you know what? If gender and biology are social constructs, then I'd like to see 2 women get pregnant between them with no outside help.
Oh, okay. I was like, you can with bone marrow, but then I was like, no outside help. Ah.
Well, let's see. There are those lesbian lizards out in, I think, Arizona, right?
Yeah, but that's not a human, so I don't know.
No, that's true. But they reproduce via cloning, right? But it still requires another lizard to sexually simulate another lizard, and then she drops the eggs, right? But they only have female in those species, and because it's reproduction via cloning, there are no differences, right? There are, and so one little ecological change, and bam, there goes their species.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's why sex was invented.
No, that's a social construct, remember?
I meant actual sex, not gender.
That's a sexual activity. That's a social activity. That's what sex is.
It's probably a social construct, too.
Well, I really loved the conversation that we had at Hannah's place, the night after. And I wish we were recording that because we had some really great conversations.
Yeah, we did.
One of the big points that I was trying to draw out there is that the thing with sex is that, feminists have no problem with sex. They have no problem when a woman is sexualizes herself. The only time they have a problem.
No, they have a problem with that too. That would be
no,
models
they don't.
and stuff.
They don't. The only
They
time they
do.
actually have a problem is when a man enjoys it. That's when it
Oh.
becomes wrong.
I guess. Well, no, because like they had that like, what was that advertise? They had that advertisement that like, is your like, are you beach body ready? That's what it was, and they had a huge problem with that because it was some good-looking chick, and not that was fat shaming. So they have a problem with some female body types because it could be fat shaming for other females.
Well, in that regard, it is sex-negative feminists is one group, and then there are the fat-shaming feminists who think that the only right body is Shamu.
Apparently, despite the health concerns, clearly no one should have this body.
But taking feminists in a general sense, they tend to be sex negative if a man is enjoying it. The moment a man is not enjoying it, they're like, oh, it's her body, her choice, she can do whatever she wants.
Basically, if Shamu takes off her shirt.
Well, okay.
That's when men don't enjoy it.
Yeah, if your
I don't
boobs
know,
are,
some
if your
chubby
boobs,
cases out there.
if your nipple is hanging lower than your belly button, you've got a problem.
Oh my god, that just reminded me. I used to work at this gas station, and this woman came in one time, and she was not wearing a bra, but her like, she was overweight, and her belly extended out pretty far, but then her boobs went down a little, and then out to rest on her belly like in an L shape,
Ew.
and she was it was awful.
Wow, the biggest girl that I've ever been with, and believe me, I regret this, is her stomach hung down from her body almost to her knees.
That's so gross. Oh my god. Oh god. Look how I'm saying these things, but I'm a narwhal.
Hey,
Narwhals
the
are
ocean
supposed.
is cold. Narwhals need all of that fat to stay warm.
That's true. We are gluttons.
I mean, if these fat girls were like in Alaska, I could understand their need to be fat, but being in like Miami, no.
Well,
even if we are in Alaska, there's no. It's still super unhealthy for humans to be that overweight. We shouldn't.
well, okay. First of
We
all,
shouldn't.
I want to cover a topic on this, right?
Yeah.
So, the biggest myth I keep hitting, right, is these people who say that no, like you can't be fat and healthy. That's bullshit. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to post several research on the topic below. Now, that doesn't mean hold on, that doesn't mean you can be 400 pounds, right, and still be healthy.
That's
Chances
what
are,
I'm
if you weigh that much.
I'm not talking about a little overweight. I'm talking about.
Right,
like you,
but they are. That's the problem.
Yeah, they're talking. I'm not talking about being a little overweight or something. I'm talking about like morbid obesity here.
Yeah.
Well, I am
Like-
okay. According to the BMI chart, though, I am a morbidly obese.
Okay,
right?
fuck BMI first and foremost, because
Okay,
it says
right,
I'm
thank you.
overweight. I mean, you saw me. I mean, okay, I'm not like the best shape, but there's no way I'm overweight. Okay, maybe I am, but
yeah, I'm overweight, right? Like according to whatever.
You
and I
also,
may
you also
even
have to take into consideration, like, if you sometimes some charts aren't very good because you have to take like in consideration like muscle mass as well.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
muscle weighs more.
yeah.
So you gotta take that into consideration. I'm talking about like fat. Like.
Yeah, there's a difference between fat and weight, and that's what
Yes.
the BMI does not take into consideration.
no, it doesn't. BMI is a joke, but You, Karn, yeah, you're
What's
a little
important?
overweight.
What's important is your body fat percentage. That's what's important.
Well, actually, what's important is how much activity you get, right? So it's not how much you weigh or how much fat you have, it's how active you are.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that if you're like 50% fat, you're another that's too much. That's too much fat.
Well,
You're
see,
eating
there
too
are health
much.
benefits. There are actual health benefits to being fat. Fat being like my level and Mad Cat's level, right? And that benefit comes from that toxins don't hit us as hard as toxins and poisons don't hit either of us as hard as if we were like skinny bitches, right?
So what you're
Because
saying is if I drink hemlock, I will survive a little bit longer than Unvarnished Void.
yes, yeah,
I'm very
because what
tiny.
happens is
I
the
get a whole
toxins
minute
get
longer than you.
stored. The toxins get stored in the lipids that get stored in the fat cells, and they slowly get into your system, right? As opposed to your metabolism just using it up right then and there.
Look, Karn, you are what I would call overweight, but you're still healthy. You know, you're a very active person. You move around. You can walk on your own accord. And,
Right.
you know, to me, there's nothing wrong with you. Um, when I'm talking about fat, I'm talking like to the extreme that these people like. I mean, there was a woman on. I saw some YouTube video of this woman who is training herself to be like a super BBW. I mean, she is just eating like she eats like a whole pizza a day. She eats like 5 big hamburgers a day. You know, she's
Dude,
just.
that's nothing for me. You should see what I ate at the buffet today. Actually, you should have seen what I
But
ate
you
at the
only
buffet.
eat. You
But
only
that
eat
doesn't
once.
matter. That doesn't matter. She's
Remember?
doing this for the purpose of gaining as much weight as possible.
Oh, that's not good.
You know, it's
Well,
one thing for
I've
you
seen
to
this
have a high
before.
metabolism or a big stomach, but it's
Hold on.
another thing to just keep gaining weight for the purposes of gaining weight to be the fattest girl who is still considered a sex model. That's her goal.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I've seen these of people before, and some of them, a lot of people that like are trying to get fatter and fatter and fatter because they want to be. They also have, if you notice, they'll have like some boyfriend, usually, or husband, usually much smaller than they are, by the way, and that's like their like enabler and feeder and stuff. And you know what I don't understand? And when people get so fat that they can't get out of bed anymore. But like
Yeah,
these
see,
people
at
are
that point, I
still
just
these
stop
people
eating.
are still these people are still like the people in their lives are still feeding them like stuff, you know? Like all that fast food and everything. Like no, I would set a salad in front of you and that's all you get at that point. Like you can't get up, what are you gonna do? You can't get up, they can't get up. You need to put a salad in front of them. Maybe with some nice grilled chicken on top. Not a bunch of McDonald's and Taco Bell and cake and like friggin' 2 pies or something. And it'll be like their parents sometimes too, like their mom will be feeding them like this.
Okay,
Look,
so here's the thing though. I eat over 3,000 calories a day easy, right? But I also burn all those calories. That's the difference, right?
well, that's all
When,
well and
when
fine.
Michael Phelps trains, right? Not when he's off training, but when he trains, he'll eat anywhere from like 8,000 calories in a day, right?
Yeah, you can eat that much as if you burn it off.
Yeah.
You can eat as long as you burn it, because like he's training, he's doing things, so he's gonna burn it off. All you need to do actually to be pretty healthy is find out how many calories your body consumes in a day without exercise. Then you can add on any exercise you're doing for the day and consume that amount and hopefully consume healthy
Well,
choices as
you
well.
don't even need to know how much you burn, right? All you
I
have
know
to
how
do,
much we burn.
all you have to do is calculate how much you intake, right? And then you take your daily amount of exercise, right? Because at some point, people get into a pretty hardcore routine, right? Like they get up at a certain time, they go to work at a certain time, they get off of work, they have dinner at precisely like this time, and like the meals are pretty much standard throughout their week. right? Because they get used to what they like eating, right? So all you have to do is say, okay, if this is my normal routine, all I have to do is go for a walk, a 20 to 30-minute walk, and you're going to slowly, over time, lose weight. Now, if you want to
you know
increase
what
that, you
people
can go for a
need?
20-minute jog instead
People
of a
need
20-minute
Pokemon
walk.
Go. That's what you need in your life. You want
What-
to lose weight? Pokemon Go.
What is it that you're trying to tell us here? That you can be healthy? We've acknowledged that you're a healthy fat person. What we're talking about is those people that have just gone way overboard with trying to be fat because either A, they grew up as being fat children and didn't do anything to improve themselves and maintain, like, well, I'm making the choice to be fat. It's like, no, you're making the choice not to exercise, or are so addicted to eating food because it makes them feel good that they just keep getting fatter. And that their doctors are telling them you need to lose weight. You know, you have heart problems. You have, you know, your knees are
Diabetes.
You have diabetes. You need to lose weight. When they told me that I was pre-diabetic, one of the things they told me to do was lose weight. Now, at the time, I was only like 220 pounds. I'm 6'3", 220 pounds. That's not really that bad, but they still told
You're
me to
6'3"?
lose weight.
Yeah, he's kind of tall. Do you not remember?
I thought he was about my height.
I was a little bit taller than you.
Yeah.
Huh.
But they even told me to
I'm
lose
5'2",
weight
if
because
anyone's
that would
curious.
help with my diabetes that I have.
Well, I think knowing how many calories your body burns in a day is good, and you can kind of actually adjust your eating from there too. Like, for example, without any exercise or anything, I do 1,800 calories. That's how much my body burns. With taking in my weight and my height and the fact that I'm female and my age into consideration, you can do the calculators for that. Obviously, they're going to be off by like a little bit here and there. But 1,800 is how many I can consume in a day. And then that can actually help you adjust. You know that you can't go to McDonald's and have like a couple of Big Macs and stuff on that. And so then you're like, okay, what can I have? I can have, fish, chicken. I like this. I can have something dessert-wise. If you take a slice of strawberry shortcake, the shortcake stuff, the cake stuff, that's actually really low calorie. And then you slice up some fresh strawberries onto that, super delicious. Or you can have some mixed berries, some strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries all mixed. Eat that together. It can help you make probably wiser, healthier decisions. Knowing how many calories you can consume in a day,
Right.
and then help just you be a healthier you. Like, I think that's the most important thing is people eating just healthier.
But in this discussion, for me, the most important thing is, it's like, look, you want to be this size, that's fine. If that's what you want, but you can't expect the rest of the world to accept it. There are some feminists that have said that if a big girl comes up to a guy and wants to have sex, that man is required to sleep with her.
Oh my God, that's
I looked up reverse sexism, and I could only find that one tweet by that one person.
That's absolutely, yeah, but that would be like, okay, in reverse, you'd be like, okay, well, if a short guy walks, even though you don't like short guys, you like tall guys, like most women like tall guys, well, if a short guy walks up to you and wants to do this, you have to have sex with him. You know what I mean? That's like almost the same thing.
Right.
What? You can't tell a woman who she has to have sex? That's rape.
Yeah.
But all men are horny, so all men want to have sex.
I guess so.
All
the time with everything.
Here we go.
So what other topics did you want to talk about? I remember you had some specific ones.
Well, my favorite thing about last week, right, was
Mhm.
that I got to go into the JFK Air Force One, and we got to look around. And just before we just after we walked through, I said to Mad Cat, I said, "Can you imagine Trigger Puff trying to come through here?" The thing was incredibly narrow.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a very stylish place for the president, and yet it seemed like they were pretty trapped in there.
Well,
Yeah,
it's probably a different time period.
No, no, it's just that they don't allow you to actually interact with anything that's on that plane,
yeah.
even though there really isn't anything like classified there. It's just really old. Like they had old word processing typewriters on there.
Oh,
And I know I
wow.
would want to press the keys, so they like really kept everything off limits. So that means you only had like 2.5 feet of walkway, and even for me, I kind of had to go sideways just to walk down. You couldn't
I
just
went straight in. I've got narrow shoulders.
See, I didn't experience this part, so I didn't go on this.
Yeah, she was out hunting Pokemon.
It was awesome. I caught a bunch of rhinehorns. Oh, and an Ivysaur. Oh my god, the place is amazing. I'm gonna go there again. I'm gonna with my family. It's only like half an hour away or something like that.
And it's free. I gave them $5 donation anyway, because with everything that was there, I like the simulator too. But like the simulator was like badly designed because it takes you like 3 or 4 times to figure out exactly what they want you to do. And I was trying to show the guy, who, like after my second try, I was like, now I know what they like, and I was trying to show him, and it didn't help. But because we didn't have as much time as I'd have liked. Although that's partially my fault, because I was at the buffet for an hour. It usually takes me that long.
Well, that and we also arrived at the buffet late, so you can't be like, oh, it was all my fault. I was here at the buffet.
Well, I could have spent like a lot less time at the buffet, right? Only eating a plate or two. But if I don't have like at least 4 plates, and I stack those suckers, then I'm like, it's just, I don't know, it seems like a waste of time. It's my main protein.
It's like you say that's all you eat all day. You're like, this is my only meal.
Yeah, I only eat one meal a day.
What? Dude, I eat
so
like
your main protein is buffet?
Yeah. Yeah, because they have all sorts of different kind of chicken, right? I picked up like 4 or 5 different kinds of chicken when I was over there.
The place had pretty good food. I liked it. It was a good Chinese place.
It was okay. Like the food was kind of, it wasn't like really fresh.
I thought it was pretty good. No buffets have like really fresh.
Yes, they do. I just went to one today. The food was really, really fresh.
I've never been to a buffet that was like really fresh. Now I've had not so great buffets, like kind of bad buffets and stuff where the food didn't taste as good and stuff. But then I've had good. I would say that this was a good buffet.
Yeah, it was good. It was decent. It wasn't great, but it was okay.
They didn't have. I think my main complaint about the buffet is they didn't have as much of a fruit selection. Because see, I like to grab like 2 plates, and the first one's like rice and some meat and things, and then my second plate I like to grab fruit. But they didn't have as much fruit as other buffets I've been to.
Is it they didn't have as much, or that you didn't find it? Because I noticed that I had to take a lot more longer to find the kind of food I was looking for.
No, they only have it in like one area. I looked in all the areas, and they have it in one area. They didn't have as much of a selection. They had like some melons. They didn't even have watermelon. I was like, oh.
I'm actually not surprised that they didn't have watermelon.
Every Chinese buffet I've ever been to had like watermelon.
Really? I don't think the one I go to does.
That one doesn't either? All the ones I've ever been to had
the
watermelon.
pineapple. They have the pineapple. They have the sliced bananas with that red sweet sauce stuff on it.
They had that. I don't like the sliced bananas with the sauce. I'm not a big banana person, but I grabbed the couple. They had the green melons and the orange melons, and
honeydew.
Yeah. And God, they had another fruit. What was it? They didn't have pineapple though either.
Really? They usually have pineapple at my buffet as well.
Yeah, they didn't have pineapple at this one. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, they had another fruit that I grabbed, and I can't remember. I think, was it grapes or something? I don't know. I can't remember now. But they just didn't have as big of a selection as other places I've been to. I would have liked a more fruit selection.
Now, here's the interesting thing about watermelon, and this goes back to what we were talking about before. There's an enzyme in watermelon that breaks down proteins, right? So while you're eating the pineapple is also eating you.
I knew that about pineapples. You said watermelon, though, at first. You started with watermelon.
Did I say watermelon? I thought I said pineapple.
No, you said watermelon, then you switched over to pineapple.
My bad.
I actually just had watermelon, though. It was delicious.
Okay, so what's the most ridiculous argument you've seen from feminists this week?
Oh, this week?
I've been pretty busy this week. I haven't really had a chance to do much of anything.
Okay, I'll rephrase it to lately.
But perhaps one of the most interesting news stories that I've seen this week was that there were these two women, I guess in the UK. They're both deaf, and they both raped a child, and the judge ruled that because they're deaf, he wasn't going to send them to prison, even though they were guilty. Because, as his excuse was, they would be too isolated in prison. And someone ended up giving me a link of, like, deaf people in the Texas state prison system.
Right.
So it's like there are options for people to be there, but it just really seemed like to me this judge didn't want to send them to prison because they were women and used the fact that they were deaf as an excuse to say, well, they need like an interpreter, they need someone who does signs so they understand everything, so I'm not going to send them to jail.
That's the most retarded reason I have ever heard. You know, they could write. Everyone can write on paper.
Well, and you know, there are other options, like, you know, send them to like a mental institution, have them under house arrest, you know, something.
Something definitely
that punishes them and keeps them away from society. They did something bad, and what you're telling them is, yeah, you did something bad, but because you're disabled, we'll just wash our hands of it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we can't send that kind of.
Sure.
We can't send that kind of message out just because somebody's disabled means that they can do horrible things.
I mean, they still have to go in for counseling, and they're going to be watched. So basically, they're on
parole. Oh, gee, that's such horrible.
They're allowed to resume their lives like nothing.
That is fucked up.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And of course, this kid who got raped by these two women over the span of pretty much most of his adolescent life, he's probably going to grow up and rape women. And people are like, oh, we live in such a rape culture. We need to teach boys not to rape. And it's like...
Are they on the sex offenders list now, though?
I don't know how the UK handles that.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't know how they handle it either. Over here, they'd be put on the sex offenders list and not be allowed near schools or anything.
Not necessarily. There have been some instances where women have had sex as teachers with their male students and have avoided the sex offenders list. There's actually a website that shows an entire list of every teacher that has slept with a student and their fate.
That's terrible. I would expect them to be on the sex offenders list.
Well, it's because they're women.
That's scary, though. Like, right now, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I don't have a son and don't have to worry about sending him to school and getting raped. By his teacher.
Well, it's the world we live in today.
Yeah, it's only bad when men do it.
Ugh.
And that's how you get equality. See, Seriously, this is the kind of messed up crap that feminism keeps pushing.
I guess with like, I don't know if I can think of anything like really. Like kind of had. Where is it? Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I had this today. I think it was like earlier today. No, wait, that wasn't it. Wrong one. Let me see if I can find that dang tweet. Oh, yeah. You even liked the tweet that I did. Actually.
Which one of us?
You.
Okay.
Where am I? Go over to my tweets. Get over here. Got is looking for. Oh, okay. It was that one like where it said like how white Americans' hatred of racism actually supports racism instead of solves it. And it was something written by John Greenberg.
Mm.
And you liked my one tweet where I was like, words are hard for people still in first grade.
Hold on. Actually, do a screen share of that. Are you looking at it now?
Yeah, I can copy the link to the tweet and send it.
Or just send us a link so we can look at it.
Yeah, there's a button. Okay. So you know, at the on the left-hand side, right, you have these buttons, right, and the green one will be a share screen. So you click on that, and then people will see whatever you're looking at.
Okay.
Okay, so everyday feminism. How white Americans' hatred of race actually supports racism instead of solving it. Okay.
It was hatred of racism, not hatred of race.
Yeah, racism actually supports racism instead of solving it.
Yeah, that's pretty retarded right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, I did see this actually on Facebook somewhere, and it was like, wow. I wanted to read more into it, but I was busy at the time, so.
Yeah, I see what they're saying here, right? So, what they're saying is, well, I don't think you need the how white Americans, right? You can take out that white entirely and say how Americans' hatred of racism actually supports racism.
No, but saying the white in there, having the white in there, actually shows how racist he actually is. Just against white people, which is apparently okay. That's okay racism. We can have that kind.
Well, that's by John Greenberg. He just did a screen cap of it. So yeah, that is pretty fucked up. I have a story we should be covering. Comedian fined $42,000 by Human Rights Tribunal for telling a joke. Canadian comedian Mike Ward.
I have like who is the Human Rights Tribunal? What is that? Who is that?
That's a Canadian thing. So
it's basically a Canadian court system that basically determines if something is a human rights violation and how much you can be fined for having a human rights violation. My Canadian friends tell me that it's a joke.
Okay, so let me read this story. Canadian comedian Mike Ward was fined a whopping $42,000 by Quebec's Human Rights Tribunal for jokes he made about a disabled boy. The child, Jeremy Gabriel, who suffers from Treacher-Collins syndrome, is a bit of a national celebrity in Canada after he sung for the Pope in 2006, essentially because everyone thought he did not have long to live. Ward's joke was a rant about how the child was supposed to die that he stole a wish and is unkillable. Sure, not in great taste, but certainly not in a violation of the kid's human rights. His joke was never televised, but after he talked about the bit in an interview, Gabriel's parents found out and dragged the comedian to the Human Rights Tribunal last month. He fought the fine but lost in court. Ward told Spiked that he plans to appeal the decision, and if that fails, will try to bring the case to the Supreme Court. If I lose that, I'll just move to Syria or Saudi Arabia or some other country that respects free speech as much as Canada does, he said.
Pretty much at that point, like.
So I mentioned before the show that this is an older story, and it actually is, because I see an article that said the exact same thing, written 7/22/2016. So I know the article you have just recently came out, but this, I have seen this before. And I think that this comedian actually did like a GoFundMe or something.
Okay.
To basically raise money so he could fight against this. But I don't remember where that was.
Oh, this article that I'm reading from was actually written by William Hicks himself. Right. So this is his article on Heat Street, which I will be in the down below.
Well, according to the article I'm reading, the thing that he said that got him, as part of the joke, Ward would say that he went on the internet to figure out what was wrong with him, and you know what it was? He's ugly, goddammit.
That's like.
I mean,
like
is it
such,
mean
like
that
such,
he said that? Yeah,
I
but
guess
it's
it's the
not
only
human
thing. If you
rights
think about it,
violation.
like, that is such a terrible joke, and he's getting in trouble, and that's a horrible, like, not just horrible as in, like, oh, that's horrible that he said. No, that is, like, just, like, a terribly terrible joke.
Just plain wrong?
No, not that it's just, like, wrong. It's just that it's a bad joke. Like, it's not that funny. And he's getting in trouble over it. That's what's funny to me right now.
He's
like,
getting in trouble for it because his parents like, woohoo, we can sue him. We can get...
Yeah, I think they're money grubbing.
That's done.
They're money grubbing. That's like, oh my god. Okay, I know I brought up Pokemon Go a lot, but I read an article before, and these people were upset that there was a lot of Pokemon Go players, and some of them, of course, trespassed through their lawn, which they have every right to be upset about. But they were getting upset that too many people were coming to the park across the street from their house, and they were like, they were trying to sue the gaming company and everything. Yeah. Like, what?
Good luck with that.
That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard, because people were being rude to them, and there's too many people in the park.
So in other words...
They're money grubbing. Money grubbing people.
In other words, we have a new generation of old people that are saying, get off my lawn!
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. And the thing is, yeah, a few of them, like, trespass, but one of their complaints was of the park across the street. Like, that's not your lawn. Don't live across from a park if you don't want people going there. Like, what?
Yeah, that's just a really, really fucked up, lame complaint.
Yeah, that part
I know, let's bring in drug dealers. That keeps the park quiet.
Yeah, I like how, like, Pokemon Go is basically the old, like, thing people are complaining about, but, like, it's not even a bad thing. Like, it's done a lot of good and stuff. People are like, oh no, you know, there's a lot of people around.
Yeah, they were talking about how Pokemon Go has done more for childhood obesity than
Michelle
Obama.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, because that's the thing, though. Kids aren't allowed to go outside anymore. I'm not even kidding. Like, this 10-year-old was walking home from the park, right? And the cops stopped him, picked him up, took him to his home, and then bitched at the mother because it was dangerous for a 10-year-old to be walking down his own fucking street.
What?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
No, that doesn't surprise me, honestly. I mean,
My daughter's
part of
8,
the
and I let her
problem,
run around outside by herself.
part of the problem is that, when we grew up as children, okay, I don't know how old the two of you are, but when I grew up as a child, I walked to school by myself as early as like 5 years old. Now the school
Okay, I
was
don't think I
only
would
like
freak out
less
about
than a
that.
block away.
How old are you?
I'm 36.
I was 37 when I was your age.
But anyways, but what's happened since I was a kid to now is that there's so much fear mongering out there. Like, oh, you've got to walk with your kids. Like, there's an isolated incident where a child gets kidnapped, and now everyone is like so afraid they have to walk their kids to school that in some places it's against the law to let your child walk to school. So of course
No. Well, hold on. Let's be realistic. See, there's a thing that schools get, right? There's a grant. If your kid rides the bus, like the more and more kids that ride the bus, the bigger the money you get from the federal government. So they have these rules and laws that your kid can't walk to school, so that they're forced to get onto a bus, right? Even if they're like literally round the corner, so that the school can get more money. That's what it is.
And the school's engaging in fear mongering.
I'm going to be honest.
That doesn't negate what I'm saying, though.
I'm going to be honest, though. Like, if you were 5, like, my daughter at 5 years old, there's no, even if the school is around, I would walk with her. She's 5. I'd be like, no.
Well, okay, hold on. If your daughter was 5 and walking with a 7 and 8-year-old.
Okay, she's in a group, that's fine. That would be better.
Right.
But not by herself at the age of 5. I'd be like,
yeah.
And like when she goes outside and plays now, she like plays outside and stuff by herself. But like it's just like around here, the apartment complex area. Like she doesn't like travel off anywhere.
Yeah, you have to have situational awareness, right? You have to know your neighborhood and how dangerous it is or isn't, right? Before you can't just say, well, my kid's going to walk because my kid's at this age, right?
Right. I mean, you're aware of what your neighborhood is.
You probably don't want your kid walking to school in Detroit. That's probably not the right neighborhood for that. But yeah, situational awareness definitely. And that's not just with fear that your kid's going to get picked up. That's also situational awareness of fear of how busy is the road close to you, that kind of stuff.
Right. But that actually brings back to a point that I wanted to make about Pokemon Go is I really have no problem with people playing Pokemon Go. I knew that AR, augmented reality, would be a thing sooner or later. But the thing that I laugh about is the fact that they now have to have a message on there, please be aware of your surroundings, because a little girl got hit by a car.
No, they always had that. They always had that.
Oh, okay.
They had that before her. That's the thing though about that makes me so mad because she got hit by the car. She and her mother both blamed the game, and her mother said, it dragged my daughter across the street. The game dragged my daughter across. No, it didn't, bitch. It did not drag your daughter anywhere. And for another thing, if you're looking at the game, you can tell where the roads are on the game. When you're walking, there's a lot of things that you can't tell, but you can tell the grassy areas, the water, because water shows up on there. Maybe not like a tiny pond or a puddle or anything, obviously. And then you can tell the roads, okay? So she saw on the game that there was a road there and still decided not to, like, cross at, like, a crosswalk or wait until the traffic went down. Like, no, she's just going to travel across it right there. Literally retarded. She actually probably, like, I know this might be mean, but she actually, just to save everybody from her reproducing, should have died or something, because we do not need any more of that in our world.
Unfortunately, we are getting a lot more of this because it's not that she was dumb enough not to look up, is that she felt entitled. And that's why her and her mother are blaming the game, because she doesn't want, her mother especially doesn't want the daughter taking responsibility for herself, that she's at fault. Once again, this is a problem of being greedy. Hey, she was playing a game and she got hurt. Let's sue them and maybe they'll settle out of court even though it's bullshit. That's what they're hoping for.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, if I had said that, if I was like, you know, oh, it's the game, my mom would have smacked me upside the head. If I said that now, if I got hit by a car and my mom and I said that and I was like, it's the game. No, my mom would fly up here from Texas and smack me upside my head. She'd be like, no, you knock that shit off. Like,
Okay.
I don't understand people and their lack of personal responsibility. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I teach my daughter. You know,
I will put it this way. I found out early in the week why for 2 days straight my house was unusually warm. And the reason it was unusually warm is because I left a burner on for 2 days.
Oh my god, that's going to cost you so much.
I know. Especially when I have the air conditioner running 24/7. It was a smaller burner, but still, and it just added heat to the bottom of the house. I'm like, oh my god, this is hot. Like, I go to cook again, and it's like, oh shit. But I'm not going to sue the company that makes the stove.
Yeah, they don't even have a warning on
I
there.
was a dumbass. Now, I could have sworn up and down that I shut off the burner, right? Because the last thing I made prior was spaghetti, right? I could have sworn I turned off the burner before I took it upstairs. But apparently I didn't. And it was on high heat the whole time. But that's my fault. I recognize that. I told that to a guy at work, and he goes, well, you know, if I'd done something like that, I would feel so stupid I wouldn't tell anyone. And, you know, we all have moments of stupidity like that, right? We all could have sworn that we'd done this or that, and, you know, and it's going to have varying consequences.
And you got to accept those.
Yeah, you accept it.
You take responsibility.
You
and that's how you don't continue to make mistakes.
Right, exactly. You acknowledge you've done something stupid, and you remind yourself of how often that what you did was just stupid, and then you tend not to do the stupid thing again. Now, with these types of people, they're gonna blame it on everybody else, right? They're not gonna take any responsibility, and they're never gonna fucking learn.
Yeah. Oh my god, I just looked over at my boyfriend's computer. I don't know where he went. Where'd my boyfriend go? But he's actually playing Pokemon on his computer. That's hilarious.
Is it the one that they spent like 9 years making?
No, it's the game for the DS, but you can get it for the your computer too. I'm not sure which one it is. I don't know which version it is. I can't tell from just looking at it right now. But he's got it on his computer and it's up. And I was like, how long has he been playing that? That's hilarious. See, a lot of Pokemon lovers here in this family.
I guess.
We're obsessed.
I'm not a Pokemon lover, in all honesty. It came about when I kind of stopped really watching cartoons as an adolescent. I was in high school when Pokemon came out. And it probably also, one of the reasons why I probably didn't watch is, like, I had a lot of friends who watched anime, and they actually were very annoying about their hobby of anime. Like, they would they would gush all over it. They're mostly girls, you know, talk about this or that, and, you know, mostly girl stuff is what they would talk about. So I never even got into anime until I was like almost 30. So.
Yeah, I got into anime when I was maybe about 14 because I hadn't been aware of it prior, right? And then when I, you know, basically middle school. And I started getting real into it, but one of the things I could not stand is the fucking harem anime, because it's all cookie cutter, it's all the same, it's all this preteen cock tease bullshit. They never go anywhere, and there's like 40 girls after this one guy with basically no real talent, but for some reason keeps succeeding. Right?
You know what you need though to like stop some of that? You just need to watch a harem anime or read a harem manga that is for adults, and then they go
Yeah,
somewhere.
I like High School DxD. It's a good show. I'm guessing that's the one you were talking about?
I know of that one, but I was just talking in general, actually. I wasn't thinking of any specific one.
I don't know
Actually,
anyone that are actually adult like that, you know? Like, that's the most adult one, and still, like, you
There's
can't
some
get anywhere.
mangas. There's some harem mangas and reverse harem for as well. Like, I watched, oh my god, I've read so many that I cannot name them because they had super Japanese names. And I've read way too many now. But, like, I know I've read some that were like that and, you know, for adults. So, putting that out there.
Well, I've come to like some anime. I tend to like more serious anime, and the animes that back in high school that everyone loved were like the super, in my opinion, very super childish. I mean, these girls like cry so much. There can never be a drought in this world because they all have to do is just cry, and there's enough water for everyone.
There you go.
But the last anime that I have seen, probably in the last few years, was a Magic Girl anime. A friend of mine was like really obsessed with these things, and I had made her watch all 13 seasons of Red vs. Blue, so it was my turn to watch something she loved. My God, that was annoying as hell. I'm just like, I'm glad it was only 13 episodes because it was just so badly written. I cried.
Which one was it? What was it again? It was a Magic Girl one?
Well, it was some Japanese name that basically translate into Magic Girl.
You want to watch a nice female witch anime? You need to watch Yumineko. That is a great anime. I'm recommending it for you. I think you'll like it, even though you hated that Magic Girl. I guarantee you, it's not going to be anything like that you watch there. It's got a female in it. It's got witch. It's got some magic. If you like it, watch it.
How old is she?
She's an adult.
Oh, good, because I hate these animes that,
especially
this Magic Girl one. I mean, they're wearing next to nothing, and I'm like, you know,
this is not for kids. This anime is not for children. I would not let my 8-year-old daughter watch this anime, and not that it doesn't have like, it's not like adult like nudity and sex and stuff like that. It is not for kids. So.
What's it called?
Yumineko.
Yumineko.
We will have Unvarnished top 10 recommended list at the bottom of the down below.
No, don't. They'll have to think of 10. What do? I don't know. That's like 10. Like, I'm so bad at thinking of things off the top of my head like that. And you're
no. You can get back to me and I'll put it in the
okay. If I can get back to you, then fine. I can come up with a very nice list.
Yeah, you don't have to come up with them now. No, we'll after the show, I'll put them in the down below.
In no particular order.
Yeah, and in no particular order.
Let me see.
She'll put it in the down below. Yeah, just as you're thinking of them throughout the show, like send a DM through Twitter. But my favorite anime since like 2003 was Naruto.
Oh, I like Naruto. My boyfriend loves Naruto. He's like, I like it, but I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah,
like,
I started watching from the very first
episodes.
episode, and I was hooked. From the first episode, I was hooked.
Yes, I've watched all the old episodes and stuff, but there's new episodes that I have not seen, because I know that it's got like a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, that's
and so.
But
I think my boyfriend might be caught up on it.
One thing that I don't like about it, though, is that it has a lot of filler. You're waiting for the battle, right? You're waiting weeks and weeks for this battle to finally take place, and then they throw in a filler episode that has nothing to do with this battle, right?
You
It's
know what?
completely.
I'm
And
a
I'm like,
patient person with battles, though. Dragon Ball Z has taught me that patience.
You know, that's exactly the complaint I had with the show Heroes. Is they keep leading, oh, these two people are going to fight. We're waiting till the end of the season. And then they have pointless episodes. They have episodes that just keep circling around. And it's like,
I liked
do I fucking
Heroes
care?
until, God, I think it was season 3 that was, like, god-awful.
for me, season 2 was pretty bad.
Yeah, season 2.
It just got worse.
Maybe,
Okay, hold on. Let's be fair. Let's be fair now, right? With season 1, it was great. It was a good. They established the characters very
season
well,
1.
right? Now with season 2, you had the writer's strike.
What?
That's what killed the series, because you had a bunch of these like writers who were not in the Writers Guild, right? And they were coming up with whatever they can, right? And you didn't have the original writers, you didn't have the consistency, you didn't have the original plot points that they had like drawn out, right? Because when a bunch of writers sit down to create a television show, they have an idea of what each season's going to look like, right? They have the secrets, like, okay, with Futurama, if you look at the first episode, you can see Nibbler's shadow. When you go, like, it's like 40-something episodes later, Fry finally finds out that it was Nibbler who pushed him into the cryo freezer in the first place, and it was Nibbler who made the phone call. Spoiler alert. But yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
These
you had the original writers, the original ideas. They had already implemented them in previous shows, right? In the previous episodes, before they got to the aha, and then you can kind of piece it together. Oh shit, that's why this happened back here. This is why this happened back here, and you can, right? It adds so much more depth to a story. But when you're just winging it, you're going to have a lot of contradictions. Things aren't going to make as much sense, right? And if there's no real consistency in your show, your audience will feel that will feel that the show thinks that they're stupid and will stop watching it.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's season 3 that I hated, because there's 4 seasons of it, right?
Well, there's season 3, and then season 3.5, and then season 4. But really, it's like 5 seasons.
So, season 3 was, I think, the one that was, like, horrid. And it just went downhill, like, really, really downhill from there. God, I was going to say my 2 favorite characters on the whole show, though, that I thought were amazing. I liked Hero a lot, from, like, the very get-go. And, I cannot remember the guy's name right now. It's the bad guy. He starts with an S. It's like
Sylar.
Sylar, yes. I flippin' loved him.
Also known as Spock. Yep.
Yes.
He was Spock in the Star Trek.
He was so great, though. Like, I loved his, and, like, I'm, like, really big, like, I love, like, serial killer documentaries and, like, crime shows with, like, psychopaths and serial killers and stuff like that. So, like, that was, like, awesome for me. Like, that's probably why I liked him so much. I was like, yes!
I liked it, too, but I really hate the time travel aspect of it.
So you didn't like Hero? I liked Hero and his time travel. I like that.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Hero's power, because Hero's power was badass. What I'm talking about is they kept going in the future, learned about some great catalysm, and then went back and tried to fix it. And it was just like, they did it way too many times.
Okay, I could give you that. They probably did that way too many times. But at the same time, if you had, like, a future thing, that's probably what would happen.
But what really happened with
future.
Save the Cheerleader, Save the Timeline, you know? That story really fizzled out. We didn't really know if anything really changed with that. I mean, that was the most exciting thing. It's like, oh, we really have to save this cheerleader, you know, from Sylar. And then the next season, he ends up taking her power anyway, so it was like, what was the whole point of the Save the Cheerleader thing? She's indestructible.
Sure, I think it was him trying to keep him from gaining the power, but then he did end up getting it. But didn't he get it taken away or something? It got taken away or something, or he ended up not getting it. I don't know. It was confusing. I think it went back and forth. It's been a while since I watched the show.
Yeah, I have no interest.
They have the new Hero show. Hero
I haven't
Reborn.
watched it. I'm not sure.
It's not bad. It's obviously not. It would have been a lot better if they put more money into it, right? So they could have higher quality, like they did the first season of the first show, right?
They were probably afraid it was going to bomb again or something.
Yeah. So the writing isn't terrible, right? But obviously they're trying to deal with the fact that a lot of actors aren't coming back, like Sylar, right? And
see, that's one of the reasons where I'm like, meh, because that's was a favorite of mine. I'm like,
right. And
I'm not sure.
The girl who played Claire, she's not coming back. In fact, in the series, you find this out in the first episode, so this isn't much of a spoiler, but she's dead.
How is that possible?
I'm not going to spoil that.
Go ahead and spoil it. I'm not going to watch the show.
No, I'm not spoiling it.
He might not want to spoil it for his viewers.
That too.
Well, then type it in chat, because I really don't want to watch the show.
It's actually a really the way they did it was actually it's well written in that. I'll put it that way. It actually makes sense. I was thinking that too. Like, how is she gonna die? Like, I get that you have to find a way to get her out of the show because her actor is never going to come into it, right? But they did it right.
Well, if the actress wasn't actually on there to die, then no, they didn't do it right. Well,
first of all, you got to realize that there's a time difference, right? So it's not like 2 minutes after she jumps at the end of the series and everybody finds out, oh my God, she heals really fast like Wolverine. No, it's like years go by. Right, it takes place after a huge explosion, like years later. But they did do it right because they had a body, it was covered, and they examined it, right, and they showed that it was her. So they did what they could with the circumstances, right? But the show is still pretty decent. But I want to go back to what someone in the chat said about anime, right? They said, and some of it is incredibly misandrist. The biggest problem I have with a lot of anime is that, especially in Naruto. Now, I love Naruto, right? But the girl, right, the head girl in the show, is always hitting the protagonist, right? Like, she has the right to hit him. He never hits her back. He never defends himself. And he always gets clobbered, right? And it's completely socially acceptable by everyone.
I always thought it was a funny aspect in anime that you'd have this a lot of times this hero, this guy who's like super, super strong or something usually, and he's like the hero of the show. And then there's like some girl, I don't know, in his school or something, just going along with this, and she's usually really small and not that strong, but she whacks him and he like flies into the door. I think that's supposed to be like a comedy. I don't know, cause I wouldn't call it.
It's a trope, basically.
Yeah, it's like a little trope thing. It's like a comedic thing. But it's the same thing as that's almost like the same thing when feminists say something is misogynistic.
Right.
The end, I'm like, no, not really. This is a joke. This is this or this or this. It's not misogyny. So I'm gonna go and say I don't think this is really misandristic or however you'd say it.
Well, reverse it.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
So if it was always acceptable to hit a woman in a TV show, right? I would consider that. I would call that sexism against women, right? I
really think it would depend on the context. If it happened in an anime or was part of some trope or some joke, then fine, I would laugh about it. Just like there are some sexist, or what you would call sexist tropes or jokes towards women. And I'm like, no, this is hilarious. Obviously, this isn't true. or this isn't a thing that happens.
But the
this
problem
wouldn't be
is, but this does
wouldn't be
happen.
okay.
That's the problem. This doesn't just happen in the anime. This happens in real life.
And
right?
that's,
Like Karen,
yeah, but like you can't
Karen
say this anime. You can't say that anime is affecting this. I would say it's because it's just like, now that is like completely wrong, and I don't agree with that.
Let me
the
stop
anime,
you both
it's like a comedy thing. Somebody gets hit in real life. That is not comedy. You just punch somebody.
No.
I think that
that
guy deserves the right to like friggin' backhand you across your face at this point. Defend yourselves. Everybody has a right to. Of course. But that's just my opinion. Because like I think, jokes, not joke.
Okay.
I know.
But in society, though, it's not acceptable for a guy to hit a girl, right? No matter what the reason.
Okay.
But they're showing that it's perfectly acceptable for a girl to hit a guy, right? And they have no repercussions whatsoever.
I don't know if you think about
guys,
the girls.
I need to say something, please.
All right, go ahead,
I'm giving you both plenty of time to speak. So.
Yes, please go, Mad Cat. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. It's not misandrist. It's a double standard, which can lead someone to say that it's misandrist. Now, I will agree that a lot of anime is misandrist, like that Magic Girl anime. They actually had a part where a teacher was saying about how great girls were, and the whole anime was centered on the fact that only girls could do this great thing and that boys couldn't ever do this. Anime is very misandrist, but the specific example that you are naming is not particularly misandrist when we consider the intent that it's meant as a joke, but it is a double standard because the reverse couldn't be true. A man who randomly punches a woman, people would be offended by that.
I actually think you could get away with it if you did it in a certain way. Like, if it was a guy and a girl, and let's say, like, she did something stupid and he bopped her upside the head or something, I think you get away with it on an anime.
Not with feminists. And right now, feminists are the one talking the most about this. Even if it was a playful hitting, feminists would be all offended in saying that it's misogynistic. But the point is it shouldn't have to be. You could just roll in a clip of a girl punting a guy across the hall. But the thing is it shouldn't have to be like, well, in a special context, it could happen. No.
Well, I even think well, I'm saying like you could probably get away with it without many people complaining. Me, if it was like in a joking way, like animes usually do it, and I would be fine with it. I'd be like, whatever, I think this is hilarious. Obviously, this is a joke. This is me. I'm talking about in society. You could probably get away with it in this context without people getting really upset. And I know that there is like a double standard there, and I don't agree with that. I think you should be able to do either or in the joking context that the anime provides, equally.
Right.
Okay,
in real life, I mean, I was poking you with your narwhal horn. That was just playful banter.
I know. No. That is sexist.
To you or the narwhal?
It was sexist to me, speciest to the narwhal.
Since we're on the topic of double standards, in Game of Thrones, you had feminists complaining that you shouldn't use rape as a plot device.
Oh, yeah, they were, like, upset about that. I remember that, and I'm like, no, shut the hell up. You don't understand that time. Like, okay, granted, Game of Thrones is, like, a kind of fantasy thing, obviously, with the dragons and magic and everything. But they are clearly going off of, like, kind of medieval times, okay?
Right.
Like, that stuff's gonna happen. What are you trying to shelter everybody from? This show is not about sheltering your safe space. Okay?
However, they never seem to have a problem with it.
Time period, first and foremost.
They never seem to have a problem with it, though, when it's on Lifetime or Oxygen for Women.
You know a movie, I think 40 Days and 40 Nights is what it's called, and he's like, is going to be celebrated for that long for his Lent. Yeah. He flipping gets raped at the end.
Yes, he does.
Nobody bats an eye. I feel like at the time I was the only person. I felt like at the time I was the only person who was like, what?
No, it's a lot worse than that. Because of what he did to Mrs. Buttersworth, rubbing her tits, the company decided to stop having her have tits. So he gets raped, no one cares. Him getting to second base with Mrs. Buttersworth, company changes their policy.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that they did that. That's hilarious.
That's fucked up.
See, I
didn't know about that. I only saw part of that movie.
The movie's good. You know, I liked it. It's funny. Up until the end, where I'm like, what the hell? I was not expecting the end. I was not expecting that.
Now, apparently, a lot of women really like the TV show True Blood, right?
I like True Blood.
I didn't hear any of them complaining when Jason got raped.
True. Nobody. See, this is the only time. I don't mind.
He wasn't just raped; he was gang raped.
I don't mind it in a plot device to make me feel certain emotions at certain times for certain characters of things that happen, and shows that this is not for sheltering your safe space show. And if it can be used for men, it should be being able to be used for women, because it's something that happens. Why are you trying to shelter everybody from this knowledge? You know? Like, it probably happened a ton more. Like, what did they show it? Like, in Game of Thrones, it's been like, there was an almost rape, and then there was an actual rape.
Well, what are you talking about as the almost rape?
Now her name's blanking on me.
Sansa?
The redheaded chick.
Oh.
Yeah,
right.
Sansa Stark. Okay, she got separated from the party. The guys. Oh, huh?
I want to caution you here. I haven't seen Game of Thrones yet, so you are getting into spoilers territory.
Okay,
and if you're not going to spoil heroes.
This is a bit. Well, this is a bit of a spoiler, but not really. This is not going to ruin the show for you, okay? Because I already said almost rape, so obviously you already know, kind of. So this isn't a spoiler for the show. If you want to watch the show, you still enjoy it just as much. This is not a big plot twist, okay? Of any kind. This is not a big plot twist. So the two guys take Sansa in there, but then she gets saved right before anything happens.
Okay.
They pin her down on the ground. That's the almost. And then they show you an actual rape. Well, not even fully show it or anything. Not as much nudity as, I don't know, every other aspect of the Game of Thrones.
Well, what's the actual rape you're talking about?
Well, I don't know. That could be a plot twist. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
Well, I do know that Game of Thrones does have rape that happens to both men and women in the show.
See, I haven't actually seen any women in Game of Thrones actually be raped.
No, one does.
Have
you seen it all?
Are you talking about the wedding? The wedding night?
The wedding night and every night after that.
See, I would not consider that rape.
I would, because it's against her will.
But no, it's not. She never says no. She never shows any kind of.
Yeah, but she doesn't. She clearly actually doesn't like it by her facial expressions. And
that's her first time.
You don't have to actually. Yeah, but anytime after that, she clearly is in turmoil about it, and he knows it, and he takes her anyways. You know, where she kind of is on the bed, and she does a thing where she's broken. She kind of faces the wall or something, I believe, at one point in the show. I don't know. But anyways, she does not like it. He knows that he's taking joy out of it, out of the pain that he's causing her.
Right. He's a sadistic asshole. Yeah, we all know that.
Of course.
Here's the key. Here's the thing, is that if we can say that we don't need verbal consent to have sex, like if a woman's body language says that she wants to have sex, then me having sex with her is not rape. If it's obvious that she's not into it and I can have sex with her, then I should be able to be charged with rape.
Yeah, this would be a very obvious, she was not into it. She was even forced into the marriage that she didn't want to be in. Now again, this is a time frame. Women were probably forced into marriages and raped this way often during medieval times and before that.
No, not really that much.
Well, they had arranged marriages, though.
They did have arranged marriages. but it wasn't necessarily that these women were raped. You know,
No, I'm not saying that everyone, but it probably happened more often back then, being in an arranged marriage of some sort. Which is basically what this was.
Well, hold on. You have to realize that back then, right? Marriage is not like it is today, right? Marriage back then was a trade, right? He provides the resources and income for the household, and she provides him with children. That was her role in the marriage.
That's true. So
we're also talking about a 1,000-year period, so it also depends on which time frame specifically in the Middle Ages. But for the most part, marriage was, you know, something that was an obligation to your family. You went, you married this person, you had children, you built up a home together. It was an obligation to do it. In fact, sex really wasn't something that people really had back then. They didn't really do it for enjoyment. Maybe if you're a royalty,
I strongly disagree with that.
Yeah, they had lots of prostitutes and stuff.
Well, yes, there were prostitutes. What I'm saying, though, is that couples spent most of their time working. They also, usually peasants were so poor that children also had to sleep in the same bed with their parents. They often only owned one change of clothing. So it's not like every single night men were just in there giving it hard to their wives, you know.
Well, no, but then you also have to consider that well, there's two actual opposing things here. So one, you didn't have any viable birth control, right? They had all sorts of remedies. Well, they had all sorts of remedies that they thought would work that didn't. There's one.
They had a plant and stuff.
Yeah. There was one plant. Hold on. There was one plant that they were pretty sure prevented pregnancy, right?
Which
and they harvested it. Which they harvested. Now, there's evidence to support that it may have, right? But we don't actually know because we can't test the damn plant. There's no way to test it because they excavated it out of existence. And it hasn't been around for hundreds of years. But outside of that, right? Even assuming that plant was viably stopped pregnancy, right? It still was a pretty rare plant considering the population at the time. So they didn't really have any viable birth control. And on the other side, you had a high infant fatality rate, right? So it wasn't your firstborn son, it was your firstborn son that survived.
Yeah. Anyways, in the show, though, they do show this, and I think that they should be able to, and feminists should shut up. Stop trying to shelter or bubble wrap adults. This is an adult show.
Yeah.
What the hell are you expecting?
Well, to the point of spermicide, you are half correct. There was a plant that's no longer in existence that may have been an oral contraceptive. But there were other methods developed back then, such as Egypt using leaves and honey-soaked bandages to use basically as a stopgap that could have also acted as a spermicide. However, going back to the point that you just mentioned, Unvarnished Void, is that, you know what? If it's being done and actually helps move the story forward, because this is something that I've had to deal with in the writing community. Some people will add a sex scene in a book just to make it more edgy, just to make it more adult. And that is such a idiotic reason to have a sex scene. For me, you should only have a sex scene if it helps push the story forward, if it helps reveal something about the characters themselves. You shouldn't do it just because you're checking off a list. And if Game of Thrones is using these rape scenes as a way of pushing the story forward or helping us better understand the characters, there's no problem.
I think it does. It helps with character growth, understanding the characters, and with the storyline later on.
Not to mention that if you have nothing bad happen to the main characters, right, then it's going to be a boring story. What makes a story good is the hurdles they have to jump over, their trials and tribulations throughout their existence. right? Whether it's fictional or not. That I mean, if you have a story like where you have someone who goes home, right? Then they go to work and they go home and nothing bad ever happens to them. That's going to be a very, very boring story. You're going to put that the fuck down.
Oh, I just thought of a second female rape. I almost forgot about. Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about that after the show. Just so we don't get any spoilers in there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to because Mad Cat doesn't want to. Because he hasn't seen the show at all.
Yeah, and you really should, Mad Cat. I think you would really like it. I think you would really, really like the show.
Yes, definitely. It's a good show.
Unfortunately,
awesome.
I think that my disability would preclude it because that's probably a show where you need a really good memory of what happens throughout.
Not particularly.
You'll have trouble remembering everybody's names.
Yeah, don't even bother. Don't even bother trying to remember the names. Because even the fucking weapons have names.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. Like this isn't like a huge spoiler or anything, but this is just hilarious. Okay, my boyfriend. I have like a terrible time remembering everybody's names. It's freaking just too many people. And my boyfriend, I was talking about an episode, and I was like, yeah, the one with the guy that does the executions and stuff. And I was like, the tickler. And he was like, who the hell is the tickler? And I was like, you know, the guy that was doing the executions. And he laughed at me, said that wasn't anybody's name, and then looked it up, and he is so mad. He's still mad about the fact that I can't remember important characters that have been around in multiple episodes, but I remember one guy's name who appeared in one episode where you heard his name once.
That's funny.
Yes.
Yeah, you should start watching it and then see the honest trailers of it. It's pretty good. They go throughout these names. Like, there's a lot. So basically, you just have to remember that there's the Starks, the Targaryens, and the Lannisters.
Yeah, just house names are important.
I'm
After
sorry,
that, just
you just bored the hell out of me. Sorry.
And then there's the woman with the dragons.
The girl with the dragon tattoo?
Mother of dragons.
Yeah, she has dragons. I don't even remember what the eunuch's name is called.
Oh, God. I don't know. Oh, my God.
But it doesn't matter, because you know him when he shows up, right? So and
I know him as the eunuch.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a good show. If you... I can send you a link so you can watch it for free. But, yeah, it's a really good show. And moving on from there, right? I like what Sadoko said. I think even with male rape on TV, they should have to make it especially brutal to get the same vitriol reaction, like in American History X. After the rape, they then smash Ed Norton's head into the tiles. They probably wouldn't have had to do that if the victim was a female, and I totally agree.
Now, what part of that was that in American History X?
That was when he was in prison, and he basically pissed off the other Nazis, and he was raped in the shower.
Okay.
I haven't seen that movie in a super long time. I can't remember much from it.
Yeah, I remember that scene pretty vividly. Actually, it was. I know
that it happened, but I can't remember much about it. It's been too long. I can barely remember anything about that show, but or about the movie. Yeah, I think that I would be perfectly fine with that, and obviously not for kids. We'd be perfectly fine with these things in movies, even if it was a woman experiencing these things, again, for the plot of the movie, and as long as it makes sense and you're not doing some sort of checklist, like, oh, we had a guy rape, we need to have a girl rape kind of thing. Like, it doesn't need to be equal exactly, just so you hit a checklist, though.
Yeah, Sadoko says it was the character's main turning point, which is true.
Yes.
Yeah, he found out that the other KKK members were having dealings with the Latinos, right? So he was saying that they were fake, that they were posing, and yeah, the trauma causes his racist worldviews to basically disintegrate.
Yes, I remember he turned around after that point. I just don't remember. I remember the smashing,
wasn't just the
of
rape.
that guy's jaw, or like having him bite the curb. I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember his kid brother following him in his footsteps after that, going with the KKK group and everything.
Yeah.
I remember the rape happening.
They're Nazis, not a bunch of rednecks. They make a very distinction between the Nazis and the KKK.
Yeah, and then they had and then I remember him being in jail. And I remember the rape, and I remember him doing a turning point like that.
Hold on.
And that's about it.
The rape
I remember.
Was only part of it. The rape was only part of it. The other part was the fact that he worked with a black guy every day, and he started listening to the black guy's story, right? He says, "Wait, you resisted arrest and you're in here for 6 years? That doesn't make any damn sense. You should have only done 6 months." He goes, "Well, when they stopped me, the TV was like I was running." And they grabbed me, and the TV was thrown out of my arms. You know, basic physics right there. And the TV hit a guard, and they consider that assault and battery on a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
So
now,
once... Go ahead, Mad Cat.
Well, when it comes to rape, there is a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And one of the things that I see that's really done to men is... we know that they're evil because they're rapists. And there's a lot of TV shows and movies that really play with this, that it's like, well, he's the bad guy because he just raped that person. And I really dislike when that is done, that he can't do anything else bad because that's the worst thing he could possibly do. So
it's not like that in Game of Thrones.
Well, I'm sure it's not, but I'm just saying that is an indication. Like, there's the movie Dragonheart, where Keen Einan tried to rape a girl. And up until that point, that was really kind of like the first really evil thing that he had done in the movie. There were suggestions he was evil, but once we saw that he tried to rape her, boom, he was evil. He has no redeeming quality.
Well, it's interesting. In contrast to that, there's Saturday Night Fever.
Okay.
Neither of you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, this will be a bit of a spoiler, but the movie's been out for so damn long. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about that one. It's been a long time
So
since.
John Travolta plays this guy who's really into dancing, right? Big surprise, it's named after a fucking disco song. So he does this big competition, right? And then after the competition, he's really mad for some reason. He's irrationally angry, and he's sexually frustrated, and he tries to rape this girl that was his dance partner. He's really forceful. She fights him off, and then, like, the next day or next week or whatever it was, he went over to her place to apologize and everything. So this is a situation where he's been the hero of the story the whole time. He kind of loses his mind a little bit. And then when she invites him in, she goes, "Well, I don't know. I've never had an attempted rapist come into my house before." And he apologizes for the whole thing. He says his head was like out of whack, and he's no longer. She forgives him, and he's no longer the villain at that point.
Yeah, I sort of remember that scene.
Nope. I never saw the movie.
Well, we'll have to force you. We'll force you to watch Saturday Night Fever. We'll force him to watch Game of Thrones. So
if I have time, I'm a busy person with many hobbies.
And changing work schedules.
Changing work schedules, yes.
Oh, it's funny. Do you guys follow Miss? It's a bit of a long read.
Miss Philanthropist?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can never
I
say
love
the name.
her.
Yeah, she was really pissed that her boss had scheduled her through all these times and whatever, and it totally fucked up her schedule. She says she has me working overtime and everything else. And I tweeted to her saying, She's like, well, what do I do? I said, well, is it male or female? She goes, female. I said, find her tampons and put them in itching powder.
Oh my god, no. No. Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, at least put super glue on them.
I don't know. Would the super glue cancel out the itching?
Well, maybe,
No, they would.
but then she
They
couldn't
would
get it back
itch,
out.
and then they would itch, and then she couldn't fix it because she couldn't get it out.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
this would
There
be
you go.
terrible.
You put on. You make sure you put part super glue on, like maybe the top part, and the itching powder on the bottom part. So when it goes on, it's locked there. And they don't cancel each other out. So yeah, there's what you do.
Here on YouTube, we do not advocate doing this. We're only joking. Go ahead and do it!
Yes, we were only joking. Not really. Good job. There's your movie reference for the episode.
Movie reference? That's all we've been talking about.
I'm proud of you. Yeah, but this is I'm not specifically mentioning the movie that this is a movie reference to.
Oh yeah, it's Daredevil, isn't it?
No.
No, I could have sworn it was the guy in
No.
the red suit.
Yeah, red suit, but not Daredevil. You got the wrong name there. I think you're thinking of the right hero.
I know who it is. I know who it is. It's that one with the horns on his head. What's his?
No, wrong movie.
Oh, it was from Kick-Ass, Mr. Mist. He said
Nope.
it right.
Nope. This
Well, it
movie
could be
just came out.
Deadpool.
Yep, it was Deadpool.
You know I'm joking, right?
I have no idea. You seem to have not seen a lot of movies and TV shows that I have, so.
I've
You never
seen
know.
a lot of stuff. I just haven't happened to see some of the things you have.
Yeah, most people haven't seen a lot of the stuff I have. Movies and TV shows is pretty much.
Everyone's
how I
seen
get to
Game
my
of Thrones though, except for Mad Cat.
Which is totally insane. What I did there, you saw it.
Especially with how good it is.
Well, after I'm done watching BoJack Horseman, I'll check it out.
My boyfriend's watching that show. It looks retarded.
Oh, it is funny.
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna be like, nah. Nah. Gonna pass.
I don't know. I think it's really a dedication to Bob Saget. Have you seen it,
God,
Karn?
I cannot stand Bob Saget.
Well, it's not like him exactly, but it's like, imagine seeing what Bob Saget's life was after Full House, to a degree. I mean, it's Will Arnett. Will Arnett's funny as hell.
I might be able to appreciate Bob Saget if I'm watching his stand-up.
If you watch what?
His stand-up.
Oh, okay.
Right, so for those of you who don't know, who may watch this in the future, Bob Saget has like a lot of these like family show things like America's Funniest Home Videos, which is now called YouTube, Full House, and whatnot, where he always plays these like rated G fucking characters, but his stand-up is dirty as hell. So you go to see him doing stand-up in Vegas, it's not going to be like Full House at all. I don't think he has any family-related or family-oriented jokes in his entire routine.
Family-oriented? No. Family-related? Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he has jokes where he's talking about, like, sex with the family members of Full House. I think he had a joke like that once. It's like, whoa! Did not see that coming. But he was also the narrator for How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, I never watched that TV show.
That show was pretty funny. I liked that show.
I liked it, but I stopped watching it in the middle of the last season because I was just like, oh, this is so stupid.
I haven't watched it in order. I've seen episodes out of order here and there, but I did like the episodes I did see.
Yeah. I did see the Harold and Kumar movies, and this is from someone who does not smoke weed.
I don't smoke, and I've seen those.
I don't smoke, and I've seen the first one.
Many people was like, you can't fully appreciate those movies unless you're high. It's like, no, I think I can.
No, I think you can. You don't need to be high.
Hey, I enjoyed Neil Patrick Harris before he became gay.
No, I seen Doogie Howser. He was definitely gay. That was gay.
Hey, in Harold and Kumar, there were some titties. That's all I'm saying.
Some good titties too.
But yeah, I mean, I actually thought the first Harold and Kumar was pretty funny. I saw the second one, and I was like, yeah, they're trying a little too hard.
The Christmas special wasn't bad.
Well, it was just more of, the first one, yeah, it's a crazy set of adventures, but it all kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
To a degree, but it's like after a while, well, with the second one, it's like, okay, they go on a plane, they think he's a terrorist, they go to Guantanamo Bay, and they somehow escape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying that one
that's
either.
a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
Sorry, spoilers for anyone who actually cares.
Yeah. We got to remember to do no spoilers. But yeah, that is the basis of it. So I mean, anything in the trailer isn't really a spoiler. So all right. Anything else in media that you think has to do with sexism or anything about last week that you guys would like to share?
Oh, I get a lot of that stuff all the time. Oh, here's a good one. A bill just passed in California that ends the statute of limitation for rape cases.
Oh, that's bad.
So if you've ever been raped any time in your life, you can bring up charges and it can go to trial.
Well, I think that's something that could really be abused, but it could also be good, like, because there's been cases where, I can't charge this person anymore because it's been too long, but they're like 100% guilty of tons and tons of evidence. So I can see it working in that way, but then I can also see it just being really abused.
Well, if there's evidence, I agree with that. If you can present evidence that you got raped 40 years ago, then, go forward with it. That's fine. But a lot of rape cases that get brought to court have little evidence at all.
If that much.
It really comes down to a he said, she said on whether or not it's rape.
Yeah, and a court just happened where a guy went to jail on no evidence whatsoever.
What?
No evidence.
I know, 'cause we live in such a rape culture right now. Oh my God.
Well, Brock, he only got 6 months for his rape. So yeah, we do live in a rape culture. But let's go ahead and ignore all of those other cases where no evidence whatsoever and a man gets sent to jail, which happens a lot. And in fact, there are many instances where women will later come and say that they made up the whole thing. And
this has happened. I've read about this before. I've read about that happening before, where women comes back, oh yeah, this guy's been in jail for like years now. By the way, I made this whole thing up.
Yeah, there's a specific story actually where this 11-year-old girl lies about her stepfather says he raped me, right? There's no evidence. There's no hardcore evidence whatsoever. He goes to prison for 7 years. Not jail, that's something different. Goes to prison for 7 years. She turns 18 and says I made the whole thing up. I lied about it because I didn't like him. Because I didn't like him. Guess how much jail time she spent? None.
I don't know if this was the same case, and maybe you got the facts wrong, if there was a separate case, but I heard a story just like this one where their parents were divorced, and the little girl claimed that she got raped and that her father raped her, and he went to jail, and like 10 years later, she came forward and said that she lied about it because her mother forced her to lie about it.
That's a different case.
Okay. But that was also something that was in the news recently.
That is horrible. You know what? Nothing makes me more furious in this world than parents turning their children or using their children on the other parent. Like, I swear to God, I want to beat them to death. Like, nothing makes me more furious. That is absolutely friggin', you are a horrible human being. You don't deserve any kids. Your kids should be taken away from you if you do that.
I completely agree.
And yet it's used all the time, especially in child custody cases. I mean, a woman who doesn't want her husband to get custody can say, he has raped my child, no evidence whatsoever, and automatic restraining order.
Or he's abusive.
Yeah, same thing.
Right? My biological mother's first husband tried to do that with her. He tried to say that she was abusive to get custody.
Friggin' pieces of shit.
Yep.
Scum of the earth. They're dog poo on the bottom of somebody's shoe. That's what they are. They shouldn't, like, I don't know, that's so selfish and narcissistic, because, like, not only are you hurting the other parent who, a lot of the cases, does not even deserve that at all. I don't care if he cheated on you, I don't care. Does not deserve that. But you're also, like, hurting the child, like, mental abuse to this child. This is what that is.
There was another case that just recently came up in the news, which is kind of actually funny, but it's also very sad, that this, I don't remember her age, so I'll just say 14-year-old girl, went to the police and claimed that her father raped her. And at first they were like gearing and going to trial until they discovered that she was repeating passages from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my God.
And when they finally confronted her on the stand that she was repeating these lines, she said that she was trying to teach her strict father a lesson.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't. I'm
I'm
actually glad that she was so retarded, though, that he wasn't in trouble. I'm glad that she was so retarded.
Well, yeah, but, at the same time, for the rest of his life, people are always going to look at him as a rapist, even though he's been acquitted, but he's also lost his daughter in the same instance.
Would you really want her, though, at that point?
Nope. I'd be done with her.
But, I mean, it's still your daughter.
I'm telling you right now, if my daughter did that to my boyfriend that I've had, I would disown her. Her old enough to do that, for making up stuff like that, she would not be my daughter anymore. I would disown her. You're out. You're gone. I'm not going to put up with that kind of crap.
Well, it's good that you do, but you're a minority of women.
I don't know. I hope not.
Wow.
The National Organization of Women still believes that Jackie from U of V was raped. Even though evidence has been presented that she lied about the whole thing, they still believe her.
Wow.
Even though she admitted that she lied about it.
Yeah.
That's so
Okay,
ridiculous.
I'm going to do some screen sharing because this is just fucking hilarious.
Oh, wait. My computer screen went black because I just let it sit here. So now I've got to, like, wiggle my mouse. Wake back up.
Tell me that's not messed up. You guys seen this?
Oh my God, what is this? You have to have like you have to have a warning on your YouTube now because you're like not for children, 18 or older. Warning on
I
your
don't think
YouTube now.
that's for any adult either. So
This is plain wrong.
anyone with a heart condition that just wants to die, look at
By
that
the way,
photo.
the picture is not very realistic because you freaking octopuses that would not feel good at all.
An octopus's garden.
They have like sharp things. You know what I mean? I don't know what they're called. They're not actually like teeth though, like we have. I'm pretty sure. There's something different. I may have something different. I don't know. I gotta watch more Animal Planet or something.
Not if that's what's on there.
Not that.
Those are tentacles. They're genticles.
Oh my goodness. Oh my! It's like 12:20. I'm actually gonna have to wrap this up so I can go.
They're called denticles.
I'm gonna have to go, guys.
Okay, octopuses have many rows of small teeth called denticles. All right, Unvarnished.
Yes.
I guess we will see you on the interwebs.
Of course, like always. You follow me at Unvarnished for all the YouTube people at Unvarnishedvoid. I do a radio show, Aerith Radio. I'm the co-host on Shooting the Shit every Friday at 5 o'clock, I think Eastern is what it would be, p.m. And then I also have a YouTube channel which you can search me on Unvarnishedvoid.
Send me that information on
Sure.
on Twitter through a DM, and I'll put it on the down below.
Sure, I can do that. All right. Goodbye.
Have a good one. And you, Mad Cat?
I think we should probably end this because I'm sure I'm annoying my roommate right now for talking up this late. So.
All right. You have a good one as well. Your information is already in the down below, and we'll be seeing. Thank you for the people who came into the YouTube chat. We appreciate your company and your viewership. And my Patreon is in the down below. If you feel that you would like to donate to this channel, it would be greatly appreciated. So, bye-bye, everyone.